Hi guys, this is the introduction to the Oxford Brookes University ACCA Research Analysis Program. My name is Daniel and I'll be your mentor for the entirety of the program. So the reason why we're here today, this is just a brief introduction of what the ACCA program is all about. Okay, so we're going to get an entire overview of what the program is about, how it is structured, the different types of documents that we'll be submitting. Then once we go through all of this, then we move on to the actual making of the project, which will be done in another meeting. But just to give you an idea how to plan things out and how to do all of the work, topic selection and everything. So that's how we start. So what is the ACCA program? I'm sure most of you already know, once you've passed the first time papers of ACCA, you can submit a research project to Oxford Brookes University, and that helps you in, if you pass that project, you can get BSc honors from Oxford Brookes University in applied accounting. So one good fact about this program is that the degree that you're getting is equivalent to a 3-year degree that you would get if you went to a UK university itself. So a lot of people have a confusion that this is a distance learning program, this is a virtual learning program, so the degree doesn't have the same recognition. Well, they are misunderstood. They don't have the correct understanding, because the degree that you get by passing this program, it's the exact same degree that you would get if you went to the UK and you attended Oxford University in person and you did the entire 3-year course. The degree has the same standing. So moving on, what is the project? What is the ACCA program? Basically, ACCA and Oxford Brookes University got together. They decided that on the basis of your past exams up till the first 9 exams, your accounting knowledge is sufficient. Okay, so the ACCA program has been designed so that by the time you give the first 9 papers, you pass the fundamental levels, you have gotten the knowledge equivalent to what is expected from somebody who's done their bachelor's degree, from somebody who's done their undergraduate program, who has completed an undergraduate program. So now you want, and the professional series is equivalent to a master's program. So the only difference is, the only shortcoming in the ACCA program is that we don't do any research projects. We don't make a thesis and that sort of stuff. So that's where this comes in. That's where this research analysis program comes in. We are writing a RAP and we're submitting it to OBU to get it checked, so that we can prove that yes, we also have this capability as well. That's why we're getting the undergraduate degree, because not only is our knowledge sufficient, the technical knowledge sufficient, but we also can complete research projects as well. So moving on, how the program is structured. So basically, this is designed so that not only are they checking your knowledge and your research capabilities, but they're also checking your IT capabilities as well. So the RAP program is structured in 2 main sections. So the first section, I'll start here. The first section is the RAP itself. Okay. This, if you can call it, comprises of 4 different documents. Okay. The first is the main report. This is the report where this is the crux of the entire project, right? Where you'll be including all your analysis, the reasons for including the topic, all that sort of stuff. Then you have a spreadsheet where you'll include all your, if you have graphs, if you've chosen a topic that requires ratio calculation, that sort of stuff. So that'll be included in the spreadsheet. So this spreadsheet will be an Excel based workbook. The main report will be made in MS Word. Moving on to the list of references, this is basically a derivative from your main report. So once you make the main report, you whatever sources you've used to get that information to do your analysis. So you just have to make a list of the references that you have used. Uh, this is very easy because a part of the entire project is that any outside information that you use that is not your own proprietary information, okay, you will be providing a reference to that using the recommended Harvard style reference. So what happens is once you've completed that, all you need to do is in Word, there is a simple option. It allows a bibliography option. It allows you to get all of the references down together at one place. It does it by itself. You don't have to do anything. So this part is basically it takes hardly a minute to 2 minutes, depending on how many references you have. You just have to change the fonts and format it at the end. You don't actually have to take out the references and put them in by yourself. So this is also a word-based document. The last part of the research project itself is the presentation. And this is basically a summary of the main report, right? So you'll be making, you're supposed to be giving your mentor a presentation of around 15 minutes. So that's approximately 10 to 15 slides. So what you'll do is simply, once you have the report ready, you just summarize the report on a PowerPoint and you give your mentor a presentation. That's about it. That's the entire project. So I know it seems a bit cumbersome because if you've gone through the information pack, it says that the main report has to be between 7,000 and 75,000, 7,000 and 7,500 words. So I know at the start it can be a daunting task, but from my experience, from when I wrote this project myself and from when I mentored other people, the experience has usually been that people find the word limit to be constrictive rather than not being able to meet the word limit. They exceed it and then they have to cut down their project most of the time. So that when you start building it, then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. You'll probably reach 8,000, 8,500 words, and then you'll have to start cutting back on it a bit. The last part, the second section of the entire project is the skills and learning statement. So what this basically, this is also a word-based document, right? And what this is, this section is where you share your experience about writing this project, your meetings with your mentor, how you did your research, your entire experience, and how this will benefit you in the future. So this is fairly easy because it's like kind of an entire process. You don't have to research this, but it's like what comes to you when you're making this entire project, right? So one thing, this is basically the overview, the crux of what the project is about, the main items. So what's really important at this point is before any of you start, what you need to do is you need to go through and read the entire information pack, which is published by Oxford Brookes University. It's easily available on the Oxford Brookes University website. The latest information pack for 2021 and 2022 is available. If any of you are not able to locate it for any reason, this is the link, and you can ask me. I'll share it. I'll share the PDF with you as well. This is the main document, main referral document that you should be referring to. It has the word count, it has the guidelines, it has the topics that are available to you. This PDF contains each and everything you need to know about this project, right down to the how the marking is done, what kind of report structure should you have, uh, the topics, the timelines, the fees, everything, each and everything related to this project is included in this PDF. So what this session, what our session today is, it's basically a summary of the information pack. So once you're going through it by yourself, you just you'll keep remembering this entire session, and then you yeah, this is right. I already know this. So the entire purpose is that you'll be able to go through it faster and you'll be able to understand, because I know it's around 60, 70 pages, so it can get a bit daunting, but don't need to worry about that. So once you've read the information pack, you know the ABCs of what this project is about. The second thing is the selection of the topic. So Oxford Brookes University allows 20 topics. So they have shortlisted 20 topics. You can select whichever you like. There is no restrictions that if you're submitting in a certain time period, if you're submitting from a certain country, that you have to choose X topic. The topic should be what you most aptly match with, the topic that interests you. Okay, you don't need to go be like, my friend this, I should do this, my mentor uh, is saying you should do this. No, that will not happen. uh, you and I will work on whichever topic interests you the most. Now, one thing to consider is that the topics, the wide ranging topics, they can be about, if you look at the screen, okay, topic one is about the evaluation of a budgetary control system. And if we go downwards, uh, if we take a look at, say, project 6, it's about the motivation of employees. So it's an HR based project. So the topics are wide ranging. Everybody will be able to find at least one or two topics that they have an interest in. So one thing I'd like to point out at this time is OBU have recently changed the topics available. So the training topics available previously, some of them have been changed. They've been highlighted bold in this uh, information pack. You'll see this topic 4, 5, 8, and topics 8, 15. Sorry. Yeah, these topics have been changed. So previously, what happened was topic 8 and topic 15, they used to have certain fixed industries from which you could select your companies, but now that restriction has been removed. You can select any company of your choice for any of these topics, so there is no restriction on that. But however, there is still one thing that you need to take into account when selecting the topic. It's that some of the topics require you to have access to internally generated information. So for those topics, it is generally recommended that you only pursue them if you're working in that organization itself. So for example, you take up topic 1, budgetary control information. You cannot do topic 1 if you say you're a full-time student, or let's, for example, you're working in Unilever, right? You cannot select this topic and do the project on, say, PNG, because this requires internal information. So you'll have to do the project on Unilever itself, provided you get the proper authorizations to use that information. If you don't have authorization, you can't do that project. So generally, what usually happens is people tend to go for projects that allow the use of external information. So what I've done here is I've made a summary of the topics, and with those topics which require internal information, those which allow you to use public information, in fact, uh, recommend public information, and some which you can do based on both internal and external information. So usually around, I'd say, 80 to 90% of the people tend to pursue these topics, the ones where public information is generally available. And I think unless you are working in an organization that allows you to have the access to the information to use that information, I would also recommend you go with the one of the topics that allow publicly available information. But then again, at the end of the day, it is all your choice. Nobody is going to force you to do anything that you don't want to do. It's up to you. You want to do topic 1, you don't want to do topic 10, you have access to internal information, well and good, go and pursue that. Not to worry. You can go through the information pack, look at each of the topics available, and then you can decide for yourself what you want to do or what you don't want to do. For people who have previously submitted a project and maybe after some delays they're resubmitting this project, they'll see that topic 8, which used to be the most popular topic, more than 50% of the students used to pick up topic 8, that has been changed a bit. So the topic 8 previously used to be the analysis of business and financial performance of an organization over 3-year period. That was it. But now the topic has been changed slightly. Now they've included this bit as well. A sector that has faced strategic and operational challenges when emphasis on how management have addressed these challenges. And what they've done is they've changed topics 4 and 5 as well. And they've restructured topic 4 and 5. So topic 4 is you evaluate over the 3-year period company which has performed very poorly. And on topic 5, company which has performed exceptionally well over the 3-year period. So they've basically taken the previous topic 8 and they've subdivided it into 3 different topics and they've specialized it. That's why that is one of the reasons why they have removed the industry requirements. So like previously in the May 2021 session, the 3 industries available were industry, transportation, media. I can't remember the third industry right now, but 3 specific industries were available, and automobiles, media, and industry transportation. Now there's no restriction. You can use any company. However, that company must be a publicly listed company. Otherwise, if it's a private company, you won't be able to find public information on it. So even though you might have a company in mind, if it's a private limited company, I would recommend you not to pursue that because information on that company will not be readily available, and then you'll have problems later on. So moving on. So these are the topics you can peruse them, and once you've decided, in the next session we'll talk about which topics you want to pursue. Maybe you have 2 or 3 topics in mind. In our next session, we will work towards selecting the one confirmed topic that you'll be pursuing. I want you to think about the companies that you want to work on. It could be if you're based in the US, it could be a US based company, it could be a European based company. There's no restriction that you have to work on a company in the country where you are based. It can be an Indian company, it can be any company at all, and it could be a Middle Eastern company, does not matter. So I want you to think about the topics you want to pursue and the companies that you want to write on. And then in our next session, we will finalize that. We'll talk about why you want to select topic X, why you want to select company X, and then we'll work on it. And then we'll decide how to take the whole research approach and everything. So another thing that is inside this information packs is the structure of the if you will see from page 43 to page 51 of the information pack, it tells you the entire structure of how the project should be structured. So it has the structure for both if you're using primary data, how your wraps should be structured, if you're using secondary data, how your wraps should be structured, and also it has a structure for your SLS as well, which requires you to answer 2 questions. So again, for somebody resubmitting this after a while, they'll notice that previously there used to be 4 questions, but now they have reduced it to 2 questions. The word count is still the same, up to 2,000 words. So it's between 1,800 and 2,000 words, but they've reduced the number of questions. Essentially, if you look at these questions, you'll see that they're probably pretty much the same. The same things will be going in them, but however, the structure will change a bit. Instead of dividing it into 4 questions, we'll be now dividing it into 2 questions. So we have covered the topics that you can select. We've covered that this contains structure. So finally, let's move on to what kind of degree. So UK based degrees are not GPA based degrees. So the GPA model is a US based model. The degrees you get in UK and generally the rest of Europe as well are not GPA based. In fact, they are level based. So the degree is 4 levels. If the topmost degree is the first class degree, okay, that means you have you're probably the 90th percentile, something like that. The most common degree issued in the UK and asked for by the big 4 firms in their graduate programs. Most of them have started reducing the requirement and removing the requirement altogether. But in the past, it used to be that they required that candidates have at least an upper second class degree, which is also known as a 2-to-1 degree. So it used to be written like so a 2-to-1 degree is basically an upper second class degree, and then we have the lower second and third class degree. Unless you are applying to a university that has one of these requirements that you have to have a first class or an upper second class degree, it does not matter. Graduation is graduation. There's a difference between the grade, but not the degree itself. You will be, even if you pass with a third class degree, you will be an Oxford Brookes University graduate. So you don't have to worry about that. It does not diminish the value of your degree. Okay, so this is one of the tables that they've included within the information pack. It has whatever your average marks are for the first 9 exams, the fundamental exams, which used to be the F1 to F9. So I'll continue to use the terms F1 to F9 because it's a bit easier. So depending on what your average marks are up till F9, so the PCs is not the professional series exams marks are not counted over here. So for example, if you've given the 9 papers and you have an average mark of 58, right? So with a 58, if you pass the project with a B or a C, you get a lower second degree. If you pass with an A, you get an upper second. You cannot get a third class degree and you cannot get a first class degree. So this is how the examination has been structured. So one thing I should tell you, the research project has a passing grade of ABC. It's not with ABC. So if you have an average score of 68 or more, it does not matter if you pass even with the C, you will get a first class degree. Similarly, there is nothing less than a third class degree. So if you pass, you will have a third class degree, and if you don't, God forbid, if you don't pass, hopefully none of you will have to face that. Hopefully, but So one question that usually comes up is what happens if I got an exemption for one of the papers. So maybe you were exempted from F5 for whatever reason, you had a previous qualification, whatever. So what happens is when you're calculating your average, you won't be dividing it by 9. Instead, you'll be dividing it by 8 papers. Okay, so essentially, you'll ignore the exemption you got from F5 and you'll consider it that you only had 8 papers to give, and the average of these 8 papers will count towards this. Again, more details on this is available within the information pack. So you can always refer to that if you want more information about any of the things that I have discussed over here. If you have further queries,